All right, let's get started. Today, I'm going to share with you how the 2020 stimulus checks work. You're not going to want to miss this. You've heard that right. The United States government is sending nearly 90% of American households stimulus checks in the amount, on average, of $1,200 per person. There are so many questions out there right now. Will you get a check? How much will your check be? What should you do with the money? I'm going to share with you the answers you need to know and the most important things to consider about your money. The last time stimulus checks were sent out was 2008, and this round of checks is nearly double the average amounts sent to Americans in 2008. Nearly 90% of all Americans will get a check based on the income qualifications. To be clear, this money is in advance of a refundable tax credit that will be on your 2020 taxes. Another way of explaining this is, instead of making you wait until next year to get this tax credit, they're issuing checks now to help people with debts, monthly bills, groceries. Basically, these checks are a great way to help people keep things moving forward during these difficult times. Who will get a check is based on your income from your most recent tax filing with the IRS. So that means your 2018 tax filing, or if you've already filed your 2019 tax filing, then those will be used. It's the most recent tax year filed, 2018 or 2019. My suggestion is that if you made less money in 2018 compared to 2019, then it might be a good idea to wait to file your 2019 taxes. The new due date for 2019 tax filings has been extended all the way to July 15th. Also, if you're not in the database for filing your taxes at all, then your stimulus check could be delayed because you're not in the system. I would talk to a tax professional as soon as possible if you want one of these checks. Now let's address, will you get a check? All of the following people who meet the income qualifications will get checks. People filing taxes as single with an adjusted gross income at AGI of $75,000 or less. Married couples filing jointly with an AGI of $150,000 or less. Those filing as head of household, meaning you are single, widowed, or divorced, and claim a child as a dependent with an adjusted gross income of $112,500 or less. And eligible families will also receive $500 for each child under the age of 17 who's claimed as a dependent on your tax filings. So one child is an extra $500, two children is $1,000, and so on. There is no limit on the number of children. Also, people on Social Security, disability, unemployed, veterans, U.S. citizens living abroad with a valid Social Security number. In summary, so long as you meet the income qualifications mentioned before, your checks are going to be for the full amount, which is $1,200 per individual. Again, married couples filing jointly each get $1,200 for a total of $2,400. And each dependent child gets you another $500 per child. Moving on. All of the following people are not going to get checks. People who made too much money. So if your most recent tax filing is single and you earned $99,000 or more, married filing jointly, earning $198,000 or more. To all my college students and teenagers who earned income, but their parents still claim them as a dependent, you are not eligible. Now, how about people who earned too much in 2018 or 19, but are now laid off or expect to earn less income in 2020? Honestly, this situation stinks, but you are not eligible if you made above the income requirements. However, there is a silver lining, and that is you may benefit once you file your 2020 taxes next year. Because remember, the checks are technically an advance on a future tax credit. So depending on how much money you earn in 2020, then you may earn the benefit a year from now in the form of a tax credit on your 2020 tax filings. So no check for you, but you may still get the benefit in the future. And I mentioned this earlier, but how about people who earned too much in 2019 but less in 2018? In this case, you may want to wait to file your 2019 taxes because then you might get a check. And finally, going back to those college students or teenagers who earned income, even though your parents claimed you as a dependent in 2018, if you will not be claimed as a dependent in 2019, you should consider filing your own 2019 taxes then. This way, you can get the updated information to the IRS. so you get a check too. My suggestion is to talk it over with your parents, even show them this video. Now, what about people in the middle of the income qualifications? This part is complicated, but I'll do my best to summarize and then give you a resource down below in the description. If you are single and earn above $75,000 but below $99,000, then you are in the middle and will still get a smaller reduced check. Married filing jointly who earn above $150,000 but below $198,000, you are still going to get a check, just a smaller reduced check. This is the complicated part. The smaller reduced check is based on a calculation of $5 less per every 100 you make over the limits. Confusing, right? The calculator down below in the description will allow you to play around with your own numbers so you can get an idea of the amount of check you'll probably be receiving. It's important to point out that these checks are going to be issued either through the mail or direct deposit. It just depends on how you filed your taxes previously. And by the way, there isn't anything you need to do to apply to get the checks. The government is going to use your 2018 or 2019 tax filing and then simply process the payments based on the address they have on file. A few weeks after your payments are sent, there will be a letter sent through the mail notifying you about the check and how it was sent. If you haven't received a check by the time you receive that letter, then that would be the best time to contact the IRS. Say, hey, where's my check? Let's discuss what you should do with the money. This money is designed to help people stay afloat in their homes while everything is shut down. It's a good idea to use the money to take care of your necessary expenses first. We're talking food on the table, gas and electricity. Like I said before, pay those monthly expenses and keep things moving forward. Others may not need the checks and maybe feel like you don't really deserve the money, or like I said before, you just don't need it to stay afloat. Still, the checks are going out automatically if you meet the income qualifications. So in this case, the best thing to do is to stash it away in an interest-bearing emergency fund, especially for one very important reason, and I haven't heard anyone else emphasize this crucial point. It is not 100% clear yet if you'll have to pay this back in taxes. That's right. Congress hasn't officially decided yet. Now, this is very important for high-income people and families. Just to be clear, many people won't have to pay this back if they've met the income qualifications. Remember, this is an advanced refundable tax credit. It would be similar to getting a tax refund refunded to you in the future when you don't owe any taxes after you file. However, Congress can change the rules, and the government hasn't decided yet on the amount of the 2020 tax credit. So, what if the stimulus check you get is more than the 2020 tax credit? Or what if the government sends you a check higher than the amount you're eligible to receive based on your income? Remember, they're using 2019 or 2018 income for a future 2020 tax credit that hasn't been decided yet. The way I see it, there are two things to look at. Looking to the past, in 2008, the government sent out similar stimulus checks, and there was not a mechanism in place for having people pay back any extra stimulus check money. Now, currently, the IRS hasn't said whether that will be the same again for these 2020 checks. So, looking ahead, if the government sends you a check higher than the amount you're eligible to receive based on your income, then you could be asked to pay back the difference when you are filing your 2020 taxes next year. No one knows for sure yet. Here are my suggestions, especially if you earn a higher income. Number one, increase your pre-tax retirement contributions to keep you under the qualification limits. This means upping your 401k, 403b, 457, traditional IRA for the 2020 calendar year. Also, you could update your W-4 to increase the amount of money you've taken out in taxes. This will help you from owing a large tax bill to the government when you file in 2021. Last suggestion is simply to stick the entire stimulus check in a high-yield online savings account. Let it grow interest there for 1 year. Then use it however you'd like once you know your actual 2020 tax bill. Of course, then you could use it to pay what you owe in taxes, and at least you would have earned a few dollars in interest. Final thing to keep in mind, and you'll be hearing more about this if you haven't already, is that the FBI, the state's attorney general's offices, they're already alerting Americans to be on the lookout for phone calls, texts, and emails from scammers. Decline these calls, block the numbers, send the emails to spam, just delete them. The IRS will not contact you using these methods. They will contact you through the mail only. So keep your head on a swivel during these times when scammers might be popping up on your phones or computers. It's important to share and note too that there are other major components in this stimulus package, including billions for hospitals, extended unemployment for workers, billions for state and local governments, interest-free loans for small businesses, and of course funding and lending for many larger corporations. These components deserve an entire video on themselves, so let me know in the comments if that's something you want to see. Okay, let's recap. The majority of Americans will be receiving stimulus checks in the amount of $1,200 per person, or a smaller reduced check if you're somewhere in the middle of the income qualifications. Eligible families with children will get an additional $500 per child who was claimed as a dependent on your tax filings. The government is going to use your adjusted gross income from 2018 or 2019 for those who've already filed. These checks are an advanced future tax credit which has not been decided yet. Therefore, higher income households may want to stash some of that money away in case Congress decides you have to pay back the difference between what you are eligible to receive and the amount of the actual check sent to you in the mail. Basically, right now, it's best to use the money to take care of your necessary monthly expenses and to save any amount you don't need right away in a high-yield online savings account. Of course, it's human nature to want to celebrate any size windfall, I get it. But it's a good idea to avoid those sudden lifestyle changes. If you got to scratch that itch, set aside a small amount for a splurge. Perhaps order in dinner from one of your favorite local restaurants to go support them. That's the best advice. Then just hold off on all other major purchases. It's also a very good idea to talk with a tax professional if you're not sure how to proceed. This legislation is brand new and we still don't know all the rules yet. All right, let's wind this thing down. I did want to say thank you to all the people who reached out to me since I started this channel about 2 weeks ago. Some of you were texting and messaging me this past weekend about this very topic. It was those conversations and all the encouragement that helped me gather this information to try to make some sense of how it's all going to work moving forward for us. Again, thank you, because I need that encouragement and it really helps me keep going. I really appreciate everyone who's already hit subscribe, and it makes me want to keep making these videos. If you did stay to the end, I have an announcement. We just launched a brand new private Facebook group for people who love talking about money and helping others learn about finances. Feel free to join and you'll be one of the first members so you can help craft exactly what this community is going to look like. All right, as always, I'm Rich, and until next time.